Resolution 23319 is non-binding and merely urges that an action be considered. In this particular situation, Resolution 233 urges the governor and mayor to consider Senator Kaiali'i Kahele's request for a 60-day moratorium or cooling-off period to prevent further escalation of the situation at the base of Mauna Awakea.
Dear Governor Ige, my name is Naya Nakosone and I am 9 years old. I am from the Big Island. I am writing to you because I am very concerned about the new telescope you want to build on Mauna Kea. I am thinking about all the people who are struggling up on the mountain trying to protect it. I am thinking about the police officers who have had to arrest our kupunas.
The County of Hawaii supporting Kai Kahele's moratorium will speak volumes. Only good can come of this time to reflect, to speak, to resolve. Only good can come of supporting and passing this resolution for all concerned.
We have not once behaved in a manner that would have warranted law enforcement to appear with bullet vests, all of these things. And just for the record, the court now has on its record the fact that they had tear gas, ready to use that on the Mauna. So we need law enforcement to absolutely stand down. They obviously need to stand down.
This is all healing. We just need to step into that light and be it. Feel it, let it. It's okay. I know a lot of us having a hard time right now. There's a lot of stress, a lot of confusion. Mentally, it's like, how is this even? We got a lot to calculate. Mentally, you're thinking this, is that. But you know, when you're in the owl, your gut, it's already pow. This is already pow.
I very strongly support the TMT. I object to several hundred highly organized people claiming to be of native Hawaiian ancestry being able to block the strong support of several hundreds of thousands of not well-organized voters who support the TMT by physically blocking the road and threatening to change from peaceful to non-peaceful means. Over 70% of the voters, enough to impeach if necessary, support the telescope, including a clear majority of non-highly organized native Hawaiians. Opponents of the TMT base claims on their ancestors being non-royalty, citizens of the Kingdom of Hawaii, a foreign government, making it a federal, not state issue, beyond the jurisdiction of the state of Hawaii. They are attempting to impose a religion repudiated by all Hawaiian royalty since King Kamehameha III, which specifically outlawed the Kapu religion of Kani, Lono, and others in favor of Christianity, trying to impose old, repudiated, previous Hawaiian religious tenets over tenets of Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, Muslim, and other religions, violate federal and state laws. The Hawaiian culture claimed does not exist because the religion it is based on is not a religion of the Kingdom of Hawaii, a foreign government.
This resolution could have been about urging the TMT Corporation to go to another place and allow this county to heal after having state police forces arrest 38 nonviolent kupuna, including their caregivers, elderly kumuhula, Hawaiian scholars, and protectors willing to be subjected to police force. Senator Kahele's moratorium will afford the TMT Corporation and their supporters time to reflect on what their ambitions and aspirations have done to this island society. There should be increasing political pressure on TMT. They are the lone decision makers that could make a difference and not contribute to the violence. Governor Ige cannot do it. Mayor Kim cannot do it. The protectors cannot do it. Only the TMT Board of Directors can make the decision to walk away and not have this catastrophic violence visit our island society.
I think it's very important that we have a moratorium of at least 60 days. If you've been up to the Mauna, you would know. If you haven't, I suggest that you go. The first thing that I want to acknowledge is the gentleman that came in the wheelchair that testified. First off, I want to mahalo him. And that is with, the deepest aloha. I want to thank him so much for making everybody see what it is exactly that we're dealing with, yeah? This is about an erasure of an entire culture. I'm here. Do you see me? I am Hawaiian. Yet he says I don't exist. That is what we're dealing with up there. This is what we're dealing with. Settler racism and settler colonialism. Another thing that I would like to address, which I'm thanking him because it gave me all my points, right? Religion. So, Mauna Kea is a temple, and I know we all know that. But I would like to quote Auntie Mililani Trask. She was one of the kupuna that got arrested on July 16th.
We have a right to worship the Creator in the environment of our belief.
We have the right to worship God in the place of our belief.
Your presence here is an insult to the Akua. I'll not be touched.
And so, to tell us that that Mauna Kea is not, available for us, especially right now, in time of spiritual conflict, in time of hurt, that we can't go up there right now to worship. That's hard for us, to pray. We can do it at the base of the mountain, but I know there are cultural practitioners that have practices that go all the way up, and right now they are restricted,
And finally, I'm a Vietnam veteran. I believe in the rule of law. I support the TMT. This is not about the TMT. The TMT is just caught in the crossfire. I support Kalepa. He just had a quadruple bypass. Can you imagine it? And he went and testified. Based on what happened yesterday, I don't support a moratorium. They are now moving in the right direction. Let them follow the process. Thank you.
I'm very torn about the TMT. As a science-based person, and I'm not suggesting Hawaiians are not science-based, they are. They were there before any of the rest of us were. But as a science-based person, I want the TMT at least someplace on the planet. I would love to have it here. But I am totally disgusted by the way this project has been rammed down the throats of everybody in the state and on this island. I have friends up there on that mountain right now trying to protect the mountain, and it just kills me to have to talk to my friends and hear what's going on. Police officers in full riot gear, tear gas, and all these things, and these people aren't doing anything but sitting there and talking and chanting and praying. I listen to some people in the public that say, oh, well, the Hawaiians were Christianized, not all of them, but maybe the king was back 150 years ago. That doesn't mean everybody is Christian, just like not everybody in this room is Christian or on the planet. The other thing is, I don't believe there's a person on this island that would get a bulldozer and plow through the Vatican or a synagogue or a mosque. Just because there's not a building up there created by Hawaiians doesn't mean it's a less sacred area. So I am very, very torn about this, and I want this moratorium to go on, and I'm hoping we can come up with a compromise. I'm afraid there might not be one, but I'm just horrified at some of the things I've heard here. If you're not Christian, you're not worthy of having your faith acknowledged. That's not right. That's not Christianity. Maybe some people need to open their Bibles and read the parable of the Good Samaritan about being a good neighbor. Who's the good neighbor? It was the Samaritan. This is a shameful situation we're going through. I'm going to write to the mayor. I have a suggestion. I don't care if it gets used or not. I just want to make a suggestion. But Miley, I appreciate that you wrote this resolution, and I want people who think that they are Christian to start acting like it and stop crapping all over everybody else's faith. It's disgusting. It's just truly disgusting. I'm Christian and I'm disgusted by what's going on.
You're going to wake up everybody. Okay, what wake-up call is it to the whole world when you arrest kupunas? You arrest the royal order. That's insane. That's just, everybody's going to have a wake-up call here.
You know, to watch people in the paper disparage Native Hawaiians, calling them lawless, and saying that they do not respect the Constitution of the United States. It breaks my heart. I'm a Vietnam vet. You know, our country is a country of laws, but all laws are not good. If all the existing laws were good, then women wouldn't be voting these days. Minorities wouldn't be holding positions of representation. Somebody who's a member of the LGBT caucus said to me that, or posted on Facebook, that she felt that, you know, the protectors were lawless. And my feeling is, what is she talking about as a member of the LGBTQ caucus? She now has the right to marry whomever she wants to, because the law was overturned.
The protests are driven by social media misinformation, and 60 days, there will be just more creative objections to TMT. Currently, protesters are claiming that TMT is part of the military buildup on Mauna Kea. I have had people get in my face, shouting me down, claiming that I am working for the military, killing innocent women and children. Social media will tell you that TMT is so big it will require its own nuclear power plant, and that nuclear waste will be disposed of in the aquifer under Mauna Kea. That nuclear gases used for astronomy will be cooled by wells drilled into the aquifer. Social media will tell you that TMT will have a massive leaky underground tank full of mercury. Hundreds of acres will be bulldozed, that TMT will be the biggest building on the island. Unfortunately, TMT came about at the time our president set the standard for political discourse. Lies, division, and obstruction is the new norm. Opposition to science, opposition to people who are not like yourself, opposition to protecting the environment are the new norm. I do not agree with this new norm. I believe in working together, not division. I believe in protecting the environment. I believe in being inclusive. A 60-day waiting period will mean 60 days of more creative social media memes. 60 days of entrenchment, 60 days of solidifying their base, 60 days of division. A 60-day pause will not help. Science and culture can coexist.
No matter how much I could have been protected by a foreign society, no matter how much they educated me, I am homeless now because I am suffering with our land. And what the Hawaiian represents against this project, TMT, is a symbol of the indigenous native people of our world to unify with all of our population, to bring all of our population together in a moratorium, not just for TMT, but for everything, to noho malie, and to sit quietly and to ask God to look inside your hearts and to look inside your souls and to see how much damage that we have done to our planet.
TMT is just a match after so many years of gasoline being poured on our ground. And I support the suspension, and they should be looking at different avenues on resolving the problem. The solution, and making a solution for the people of Hawaii.
Aloha, I'm Wendy Laros. I'm the Executive Director of the Kona Kohala Chamber of Commerce. Our chamber opposes Resolution 233-19, asking the governor and the mayor for a moratorium on the construction of the TMT project. This project has followed every procedure and process in obtaining its permit to build the next generation telescope. We place our trust in government, and we have an expectation that the rule of law will be enforced. We do not want to see another 60 days added to this process. After several years following the procedures of our state, the TMT project has been granted the notice to proceed. We expect the state of Hawaii and the county of Hawaii to support TMT's permitted construction under safe passage now and at this time. We must ensure the development of the TMT project and the continuation of the astronomy industry on Mauna Kea. Hawaii's astronomy sector provides needed economic diversity with a statewide impact of $176 million annually. Astronomy activities generate over $52 million in earnings, $8 million in state taxes, and provides 1,400 jobs statewide. During the construction phase, TMT will create 300 local and specialized construction jobs, and once the telescope is complete, employ nearly 140 staff. TMT's commitment is to fill these positions with as many Hawaii residents as possible and use local businesses for support services. The astronomy industry supports initiatives and programs to better prepare Hawaii Island students to master STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math curriculum, and to become the workforce for higher-paying science and technology jobs in Hawaii's 21st century economy. TMT's contribution of $1 million annually goes to the Hawaii Island New Knowledge Think Fund, and this goes to STEM programs for Hawaii Island. In conjunction with the University of Hawaii at Hilo, Hawaii Community College, and the Department of Education, TMT sustains a Hawaii workforce pipeline.
Can you summarize?
We urge you, our county leaders, to support our decisions made through the process that has already occurred. There is no need to extend this situation. The permit has been granted, and we expect you to uphold that decision.
In response to the people that talk about the lawlessness, which is not happening on the mountain, there's not lawlessness. It's the most amazing group of community I've ever seen. But I wanted to point out that this is a historic district. It's a traditional cultural property. It's a national natural landmark. The 8 criteria that are in place to protect conservation district, the current proposal to build the telescope meets none of the 8 criteria. There's already been cumulative damage to both the natural and cultural resources, and it's been described in the company's own document as substantial, adverse, and significant. They have acknowledged that they are short of funding and are seeking another partner in order to cover the $400 million shortage that they have. They have no lease beyond 2033, and so by the time they finish in 2027, if they ever should start, they would have to immediately begin decommissioning. They have no money for decommissioning because they're only putting $1 million a year into it, and they don't expect the decommissioning fund to be useful until 2050. And they have imposed a limit to the practice of practitioners. And it's a wahipana that is very close to the circle of shrines that is not at the summit, but is just below the summit, where most of the prayer has taken place.
I took my 10-year-old daughter to the Mauna on Saturday, and she walked up to the mountain. She sat there for a long time. And I let her just sit there and watch and look out. And when she was done, she stood up and she told me, "Mom, I feel it. I feel this feeling. And I'm so mad that they want to build a 30-meter telescope here." And I looked at her and I said, "I know, baby girl. We all feel it. I don't know why they want to do that either." And so I told her, "Thank you for coming up here, for standing up for what you believe in and what we all believe in. So I just ask you to please respect what is sacred, our Mauna, Mauna Awa Kea for our people and for many generations to come.
I am a kapuna on the front line, and I was traumatized by the L ride and the tear gas and the mason. We are all traumatized right now. We are in need of an emergency proclamation right now. And I am for this resolution of 23319. We need to have consultation at this time with the government. Governor Ige, at this point, don't need that emergency proclamation. We do.
And I oppose Resolution 233. After many delays and permits being challenged, and the highest court of our land has been met, and we have had moratoriums for 5 to 10 years who approve the project. There are important issues that the people of Hawaii should be addressing, but for them to take a stand against not another mega project, mega hotel with golf courses that truly do pollute the land and take many square miles up, but against a science and research project on a mountain so high most people, for health reasons, can only visit there for a short period of time, seems misguided at best. I believe we have the opportunity to follow the lead of the ancient Polynesians who discovered these islands. I think they would have been honored to have an instrument of the future on their island, a navigational instrument, as they put on the sacred heiaus on all of the islands. They were explorers who chose to stop looking at the dirt below their feet and instead to look up at the stars above and see in them guidance to a better future for themselves and their families. In this case, what is at stake is a better future not just for Hawaii Island, and not to be too dramatic, but possibly for the future of all mankind.
Yesterday was huge. Ige actually called us protectors. We've been fighting for that for 5 years since we stood on the Mauna. I want to talk about Hawaiian culture. You see how beautiful it is. Everybody saves their life savings to come here and experience it. Mauna Kea is our temple. Would you guys ever tear gas St. Michael's on Christmas Mass? Or bring the LRAD down to Mokuaikaua Church on Easter service? Probably not. This is our aquifer, the main aquifer that trickles down to every other aquifer that supports our island. And putting a big chemical waste tank up there is not a good idea, especially with Mauna Loa just being raised because of all the earthquake activity there, and because Mauna Loa has had 7% of the water supply compared to last year. There's also Evie up there. My boyfriend's family has bones up there. This is a conservation district, and none of the 8 rules for conservation have been followed. There are broken telescopes up there that should have been decommissioned, and that's a broken promise. There's, I think, a 7-story building code limit. This is going for 18, so that's just crazy.
After the previous telescopes were constructed and opposition and protests were made on those telescopes, TMT is the catalyst. It's the line in the sand that you cannot cross. Do not cross this line. We have taken enough already. The illegal occupation, the core issue really is the illegal occupation of the Hawaiian Kingdom by the United States is now widely known and is being taught to our keiki in their schools instead of withheld as it was since 1910.
It's very hard to come here because it's extremely emotional to coming back down from the Mauna and watching Kupuna take a stand on their kuleana to do what they had to do and to watch as requested to sit in silence and reverence for their kuleana. It's very, very hard. I'm so grateful for the lessons I have taught. And by the way, my lineage, Oiwi lineage, goes back to from the beginning of time. Born and raised Christian with missionary parents. And the lesson, the principle my mother has instilled as a Christian was that of Aloha Aina. She never wavered from that. The foundational principles of Aloha instilled in that me today. And so I'm here on behalf of my mother, on behalf of my kupuna who have gone before me and have taught me this foundational principle of Lahaina. I stand with the Kia'i and the Mauna, and I really see the path to Pono is the Canary Islands.
My kane works for a company contracted by the TMT, and their company is going to be doing some work there. And he has stood on that mauna last week, and many of his his co-workers expressed to him that they are in a tough situation, that they don't want to go up to the mauna, they don't want to drive that cement truck up there and see our faces, but they have, what is their options? To either desecrate the mauna or not to feed their keiki. And that's a really hard decision to make. And I just wanted you to know that we're in a tough situation, all of our people here. And we need to do what's right for our future generations. And it does not include money from foreign companies. It includes getting back on the aina, getting back in the local, getting back in the lo'i, and doing real science and doing real learning and work that's going to feed them in the future.
I don't see that having a 60-day moratorium is particularly helpful. We've followed litigation and protest and the TMT project for years. There have been opportunities for some kind of, whether it's mitigation or mediation, and coming together during that time. And my understanding is it's pretty clear that there isn't really room in this issue for compromise, that there's been an intention, from the beginning. There is an opposition to the 30-meter telescope on the mountain, and I don't think that a 60-day moratorium is going to change any of that or find a compromise. I think 60-day moratorium might as well be a 60-year moratorium.
So I ask that you give not only us, the protectors, a chance through this moratorium, but also the law enforcement and others involved a chance to relieve this constant stress we're all feeling. Mahalo.
But what I do think we're moving towards is a sit down and ho'oponopono like Senator Kahele suggested. And at least we can all say, we were all at the table, we agree to disagree, and then whatever the result is, we have to give it up to, that's what we have to live with or work with. So I really want to thank especially our kupuna at Mauna Wakea, because they have chosen this to be their kuleana, and they're doing it for every single Native Hawaiian on this island and elsewhere. And I see that each of us have our own kuleana, and I think together this will, I pray, has a positive and meaningful ending, and we can all move forward.